was full service. And I do remember, like, and one of the things that I liked best about this, and I missed that skirt. I wore that skirt till I couldn't wear that skirt anymore. But not only was it appropriate for what I had to wear, I thought that it was very attractive. It was at a price point that made sense for me as a young marketing professional in the banks. You're not making a ton of money, but they expect you to look a certain way.
Sure.
And Dress Barns filled in that gap. And the thing about it is, not only was it the way that the skirt was created, it was created to, it had what we want now, where it had like the slimming panels. It had this, and that was 15, 16 years ago. And now we would go, well, wow, of course it has slimming panels. Well, of course it's this, and it's supposed to be fashionable. They were selling functional yet fashionable clothes before people knew that they could get it. But I think a lot of people just presumed when you saw the brand Express, you knew what you were getting. When you see the brand Dress Barn, you'd go, maybe I'm not going in there. It sounds dowdy. I agree with you that it sounds dowdy.
And I feel bad for laughing at some of these posts, because in reality, on their Facebook page, what came across most strongly was even some grief from women who have been shopping there for 25, 30 years, who love it. It's their place, their go-to place to shop. So
because it is the kind of place that you go, if I need, if I'm, let's say I'm a single mom and I need to go find a little black dress, I can find it at the Dress Barn. If I need to go, but if I also need to find a skirt that I can wear to a job interview, you could find it at a Dress Barn. If you wanted to go and say, well, I got to go to this company, you know, some sort of party, you could find it at Dress Barn, and you never had to go in there and feel like I'm not going to find my size. It's not shaped for me. It's not, you know, I'm not going to feel accepted. And I think that that's part of the culture that they had created that lots of people missed out on because we couldn't see past the name.
Here's the thing that I think is sad then. If it was doing these innovative things, which most stores don't do, like everybody can shop together. If you're a size 4, if you're a size 20, everything's there together, which is probably going to be a thing that stores in the future do.
Right.
If they were being innovative about that, doing, you know, mainstream ads with plus size models for all their sizes, things like that. A backwards image and a backwards name doesn't set their brand apart.
Right.
They needed to be set apart and be showing the innovation they were doing, and they weren't expressing that to people that would have appreciated that. I would have appreciated that, and that was lost in their message. And that's everything these days.
Fair enough.
You've got 5 seconds to get people, less than that. You've got a millisecond to express what it is you've got. And why didn't anybody who worked with them be able to explain that to them? I don't know.
Oh, they did. They just chose to stay the course.
That's
and
too
so,
bad.
Yeah.
So they were being innovative but stuck in the past, and that's not two things that are going to go together.
Right. And I wonder if it's because it stayed a family-owned business for so long.
Right.
There was the mom who started it, and then her son has been running it for, 27 years.
Right. And
they
so
couldn't see what they were doing that was innovative. They didn't understand.
Right. And then they did try to look for another owner. They weren't able to do that, and they did some restructuring, and that still failed. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to find another retailer. And, you know, I'm not like a rabid Dress Barn fan where I'm going to have many tears, but a little piece of me is sad that they weren't able to, like, stick around.
Yeah, no, you expressed what they were doing very eloquently.
Aw.
So good for you, Shannon.
Pour a little liquor out for Dress Barn. That has been today's product displacement. As I said, product displacement today is brought to you by Enthusiastic Women Online and the Vajada's Cradle. And now, a word from Verbena Wackenfield, Enthusiastic Woman founder and CEO.
Ladies, your oils are essential. Keep them where they belong with the Vajada's Cradle, a new ladies' undergarment from Enthusiastic Woman, coated with a patented blend of apricot, eucalyptus, turmeric, black licorice, and rosewater. Order today and get the limited edition Vajada's Cradle with an added layer of menthol.
Brought to you by Enthusiastic Women Online, we birth success. I bet you that's delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Wake you up.
I'm a fan of rosewater.
Rosewater and menthol.
Our next segment, as usual, is Did You See This? Now it's time for Did You See This? And Judy, I believe you have this story.
I do.
in contrast to our last brand that had a really bad name but seemed to be trying to do the right thing, we now have one that has an okay name but isn't necessarily doing the right thing, right, Jude?
So this is one of these just shake your head and, oh my gosh, why in the world would they do something like this?
Right.
Okay, so this is a brand that has a very huge Instagram following. It's called Opoly, and it's out of the UK. And what they do is they have an Instagram page, like I said, has 2 million followers, and they decided to make what they did is they said that they were going to become inclusive, and their page is so strange.
Right.
It just shows mainly very, very tan white women in mostly swimwear.
Yes.
And then they decided that they were going to start being inclusive, and they reached out to influencers who were women of color and also plus-sized influencers and said, would you be willing to, be featured on our page, and got a bunch of different influencers that were going to be part of Opoly. And then what they went and did, which is the thing that's just completely insane, is they started a separate Instagram from their main page. They called it Opoly Inclusive, and that's where they put
all of the new influencers.
So they literally segregated.
Right.
Their inclusion page.
Yeah, they put like Asian women, black women, any women of any other race that weren't white, along with plus size women on a separate Instagram page called Opoly Inclusive. And then kept like thin white women on their main page.
So instead of going, we are all welcome here, they said, we are welcome a half step to the side, so and I found that fascinating because if they're trying to target to me and go, okay, we now want to get money from these additional people, so we want to broaden our demographic, but clearly somebody over there thought that it was okay to sit there and go, well, we don't want to run off our core is accustomed to this, but we can market to these other people as well. And that is always my favorite, when I get obviously branded as other people. So you've decided that my other group has funds that you would like. So I mean, I think that this is the part that I might give them some credit on. Some tone deaf marketing person in there sat there and said, I don't know
what to say. I mean, the company described it as a, quote, serious error of judgment.
Right.
My favorite tweet was by a person who was like, what in the segregation is this? What makes these women not suitable for your main page at Opoly? Opoly Inclusive? Who approved this?
And that's what I'm saying.
Even their main page just shocks me. And
yes.
If you go to it, they've taken down Opoly Inclusive because they realized that it was super racist. But This is a UK brand. And I guess it's the 5th most popular online retail in the UK. Who is buying all these bikinis?
I don't know.
Like, where is the need for all this skimpy swimwear?
And that's what I thought was interesting as well.
And why are they so tan? And also, it seems like such a Kardashian-influenced look.
It does.
Shocking me.
Yep.
Like, everything looks like it's just drenched in like a Kardashian filter. I mean, these are white women, but they're so darkly tanned. And then the other thing that's fascinating is they do every once in a while have a black model.
Yes.
She's always shown next to a white model. Like, it's like, here's what it looks like.
Here's the yin and yang.
She's never shown on her own.
But this is what I was saying, is I felt like somebody, and I still think it's tone deaf. I'm not giving them a pass. But I could see some diagonally thinking marketing person in the company going, well, these people would like us, and I always use these, and I said it with that tone because that's, I'm a little offended. So it's these people would like us to market to them differently. So we are going to create a way that we are directly speaking to them, because as an inclusive population, we need to market to them differently. They want to know that we are addressing them. And so I feel like some companies find a self-serving way to say that they are doing the right thing. And so, yes, I do want to feel as though you are marketing specific to me as a demographic for multiple reasons. But when you segregate it that way and you go, well, that you can't see that, that it's a veiled segregation. Like they thought, I could told them go, oh wait, that backfired. But I could totally see somebody in that company thinking that it was totally cool, and that they'd go, well, yeah, of course they want to talk differently.
Well, and why did they put the plus size people in with the racially diverse people? It's so bizarre.
Right.
It's discardable.
Yes.
Right? They can
It's frustrating.
They can throw that page away as quickly as they want. And they
Right.
can claim to have done. I've
Like, nobody wants this as much as they want to see the white thin people.
Right.
Like, these are the A+, and this is like, I can't even really wrap my head around it because my brain doesn't work that way. But it's so bizarre.
I mean, I think that for years if you were, they would call you the non-standard market or the secondary market. And so clearly their primary market was who's on that one. That's how they built their brand. And people at least, think that they're followable. And now they're like, and I'm sure the conversation used those kind of marketing terms as we are going to have a secondary market that's for these, these consumers. And so, thank goodness we live in a world now where you don't want to feel like it's these consumers. We're all consumers.
Well, I mean, I think Rihanna, with her Fenty line of brands at this point, proved that people have not been at all including or marketing to black women, women of color, different colored women, whatever you want to call it. And she's made a shit ton of money off of doing this, right? With her Savage Fenty brand, which is one. Okay, so she has all the different things. She's got the Fenty Beauty brand.
Yes.
And then Savage Fenty is actually one of the Just Fab lifestyle brands.
Right.
And now she's got the Fenty Luxury brand.
Right.
Which is one of like the, what is it, LVNB. It's like with Louis Vuitton. It's like a high-end luxury brand. Each one of her Fenties is its own separate entity done with a different thing.
Right.
But either way, I guess you could call that inclusive. It's all, it's marketing to all women up front in a way that most brands don't do because they're only seeing thin white women.
Right.
Or showing that in their marketing, which Rihanna doesn't do.
Right.
And she's proved that there's a whole lot of money to be made when you don't do that.
Right. And
I'm
you can
actually
have
wearing
strata.
Fenty right now. I'm wearing the Fenty Beauty foundation. I happen to be one of the whitest people alive. and most foundation lines don't go white enough for me.
Okay.
And my daughter and I love Fenty because it has all the colors.
The palette is
and
broad.
I buy the whitest Fenty, like the lightest color, and it's perfect. I actually love it because it has so many colors. It's just really great, so these really inclusive lines, it includes sort of everybody.
They thought of that too. They're like, where are the incredibly pale people?
Yeah.
Just as much as and I think that's fun. That
It
they were like,
goes so dark. It goes so dark and it goes so light that I use it now because of that. It's so inclusive. It has everything.
And I think that's another example.
My people came from the caves and the rainy lands of England. We hid from the sun, and now Fenty benefits me.
Mine are pasty people.
We are a pasty lot.
But it is so nice now to know that all three of us can shop in one place. We should do an ad for them. We
should.
We are
like
a proper.
What Fenty are you?
Exactly.
No, I love it. I'm like one of the Rihanna's biggest fans because it is that, but it benefits so many different people when you can do that. But I mean, why would? I don't know. Like I said, it blows my mind when.
Well, slowly these companies are learning, and hopefully we continue to prize to praise the ones that do it well.
Right on.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, this will end it on a negative note, but referring back to Polly, as I was reading about this and thinking about this, here's what I think. I no longer think those kind of racist tactics are an accident.
Fair enough.
That it's a result of just not getting past